Same here. Market looks nice. Where are you gonna go? I'm opening at it, so I can't even see what's happening right now.
She headed down.
I mean, I'm
She
looking at
went up.
yeah, I see that. I'm looking at trading view. I see that part.
She dropping. It might go down there and get them lows first. Ooh, if you sold it, you won. Ooh.
Yeah. Yep.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh yeah, look at
Felt
look at
like
this. Hey, check this out. This is something that I'm working on right now. Look at how it's dipping down into this this little zone right here. That's cool. I was just back testing this. It's something I made yesterday that I was watching how price would dip into here and then reverse out. I wonder if it does it again. Like I wonder if it does it right now. Open up, open up. What is it? This oh this yeah, this is good. I was about to say. Man, this looks different. It does look different. Oh, it's a 15-second, that's why. I still kind of want to look at it on 15. Boing! Watch it fly up. That'd be cool. I was making this thing yesterday. What you're looking at my chart right here is an idea I had, and basically it just creates these areas. I have like no experience with it yet. I've just started putting it on here and was wondering if I'd be able to do something crazy with it. Yeah, basically, I'm not even gonna go into it right now, but basically, you know, as you could tell, it has kind of a baseline and then like these extreme zones. And I was looking to see if it would be worthwhile paying attention to when price reaches into these areas. A lot of times it will bounce out of those, not every time, but a lot of times it does bounce out. So, um, sell areas like that. I got too many settings I'd have to adjust on it though for now to have to even worry about that. It's my chart. All right.
Look how
Look
she
at it.
came out that zone twice.
I know.
Yeah, 3 times.
At this yesterday when we came down here, we just dropped straight through.
Yeah. Them daily lows looking pretty sweet.
It sure is. R.I.P.
You hate to
buyers.
not be, yeah. I hate to
Yeah,
not be selling, but I feel
what's
more
that?
comfortable buying.
You what?
I hate to not be selling it, but I feel more comfortable buying it. Something popping off within the 9 o'clock hour. I'll be happy.
Right, right. Yeah, no, you're come sit on the bench with me, man. I do this all the time. I do that all the time where I'm just sitting there and I'm like watching it just tank and tank. And you're sitting there watching, it looks easy. You're like, why am I not in this? And you start kind of questioning yourself, like, what am I doing? But man, it's so much more stress free to trade in predictable areas. It's like sometimes the open happens to wick into a predictable area where you could take a very predictable trade. But it's not every time. I tell you that much. It is not every single time. A lot of times the market will come to more predictable areas later. Like as we sit here and trade, you know that we're going to see a couple of those trades come by that I like to see. Those they're slow, they're easy. There's no question about it. You get in it. The risk is defined. You decide how much you're going to risk, and that's exactly how much you risk, and that's it. And you either take the trade or you don't. And so, yeah, it's I rather I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I'd rather sit there and watch something drop than try to join just because of FOMO.
Yeah, 'cause I seen it sweep the London lows, and I was just looking there like, ooh, I
Mm-hmm.
wonder what it's gonna do here. I said, the only way to know what it's gonna do is to keep watching it. So
Yeah.
I just kept on watching it.
Yeah. We're almost to the low.
I got to the London low yet.
Yeah, we did. Got down there, but we got a little ways to go for this one. What is it down at 670, I think.
Yeah, we blew through the London low on the 5 minute.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's what it did yesterday too. That was that same area I marked up. So if y'all were with us, at the beginning of this call, we were watching this area, man, and it slammed through it yesterday afternoon. Like this was that area we were talking about, like watching and seeing if price come down here. That sucker came
Yeah,
down, that's for sure, but it slammed through it, and then
yeah,
it did.
London low's at 680. That's
It
why I
Yeah,
said
sure
they
did.
didn't hit it yet.
It did exactly what you said it was gonna do.
yeah. So look out, it slammed through that area, it flew through that area, and then it flew right back through that area. It does not like this area for some reason. So like it
That
does
one
not
sell,
it does not want to be there.
that sell you marked up yesterday on the chart,
Hmm.
it came back, gave a nice red zone entry before it fell off and went to TP.
Oh, I know. I saw that too. Yeah, somebody should be keeping track of all these freaking trades that I talk about, because I don't take all of them. I just kind of tell you what I see. I'm like, oh, I see this, I see that, I see this, I see that, and yeah. What does this say?
I said we need a stat tracker.
Yeah, there it
Ken's
is.
calls. Uh, that's the push.
What is it? It goes down to, I think I said 70.
Gave a nice little tighten too on the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I'm watching this chart, but this is what Titan's for, you guys, right here. I know this looks kind of crazy, but if you understand how the Titan works, then like you're taking one of these at a time. So you get your entry. They're overlapping. That's why it looks confusing. But you've got entry, stop loss, TP levels. So we've got winners. This trade lost right here, but this is a buy. We're not even talking about buying. But either way, no matter what, we got these two winners and we got a loss if you tried to counter trend this last one there. Oh, we hit them. We hit it. We went down to the low. We did the thing.
Yeah, well, it was London low for me.
Yeah, yeah, that was everything low. That was the daily low. That was London low. We just hit all these levels down here. Only low we didn't just now break, I think, was yesterday's low. Or no, yeah. Hold on.
I think you're looking at it wrong. We
We
ain't
broke
hit
the
daily
we
low.
broke the
That was
midnight
just
we
London.
broke the
Oh
midnight
no,
low.
no,
We broke the midnight low.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
tripping.
that was
We
You're
broke
right.
the
London low.
midnight low, but
That
not the
low.
daily low. We
Right,
got the
Daily.
midnight low though.
right. I was looking at the wrong spot there.
But we got it now.
Yeah, we got it. We got it
There
now.
it is.
And a bunch of
Now
trades just came in. God.
I know it. They ready to buy it up.
Yeah. Oh. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about right here. Is being able to trade right off of that area there. You buy right here, little stop loss, something just like that, and say whatever you want. I don't need to even go that far. I'm perfectly fine with a little bitty old trade like that. It's just fine, predictable and repeatable. Something you can do over and over and over again, and not have to change it and wonder and this and that. That was a nice bounce off of that. Any which way you look at it, it was 4 points of drawdown off the low there. So if you were thinking about buying this low, like we talked about, 10 minutes before this session even started, 4 points. 4 points is the max it went past this, and then it ended up shooting up at least all in that one move right there. It's 38 points. That's like a $750 move right there. And then when it might end up doing it all over again right here. Let's see, what does this say here? Oh, whoa. I looked away for a second. All right, now where are we at?
She dropped off, man.
This is
Dropped
this is
out.
another zone right here that
Yeah,
I had marked
got
over. So
another.
that's 645. What am I looking at here? This comes from a TPO. Let me just double check. No, I don't know what I don't know what this big box is for.
She just gonna keep on doing what she do. We got a few more minutes to 8:50 though.
I don't know where it's gonna stop. I have no clue.
She just doing.
We've
Wait
we've
for her to do something
basically
bullish.
what we just did was there's been some really big trades that have happened yesterday, like huge trades, big buy trades that hit the market yesterday. All that has been retraced now. Every single bit of it. So like everything that pushed price up, from pretty much basically all this entire move from here to here was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There was 9 big trades that happened, like really big prints, 1,000 contracts here, 1,000 contracts there, that led up to this right here, and it actually just went down to the last big order. The last big order that came down was at 600, and we just hit 600. So those areas, the way I was looking at them was originally was
About that.
wait, what'd you say?
About that low. I got in about 620.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, I was
I got a
thinking,
grand off that.
what say that again?
Oh, that's I made 1,000 off that. Buy up.
Nice. What made you guys decide to buy right there at that spot?
It was a pivot point. I got a pivot point there. Then also we had the green zone pop up
All
on the
right,
red minute.
nice. Yeah, it was a
yeah.
good amount.
I got a 4 hour line right there, and plus that the 5 minutes swept that last 5 minutes and started
Mhm.
going up with that move down.
All right, all right.
So we had a 5 minute sweep.
Morning, good morning.
Good morning.
That, them zones at them key point areas is key.
You
They
talking
work
about
great.
these volume levels like this?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it came right back to the other one. I missed this one. I was looking at a different chart. I'd have been cool buying that. You could actually see the buyer stepping in this right here. If you're using order flow, you could actually see them starting to step in right there. I'll show you in a
The
second.
zone hit, man.
Mm-hmm. Why is there an order stuck on my screen? All right. I'm gonna run and take my son to school real quick, and then I will come right back. I'll leave these right here.
Got time setting up.
Yeah, I see that. I will leave this here so you guys can copy the trades, and I'll be back in a couple minutes. It's here. All right, I'll be right back. I see the I see the time you're talking about.
Y'all think y'all think it's gonna keep going down or right there on that green? Is that where
We
we're
got
going?
5
Like
minute time.
is that for a buy?
If it keep going down, we got 5 minute time setting up to the downside. So we could just be
From
putting in. We could just be
oh,
putting in the wick. So
oh
we'll see.
okay. All right. Thank you, man.
Oh, no problem. There's plenty of momentum to the downside though. Just kind of let the price action tell you what it's gonna do. Seems like the
Right,
price action working out pretty well today. So
right,
just
right,
wait and
right,
read. You'll be able to see it.
right.
Look like we just put in a wick. We might be going up. At least 695, 700 be my target. If it gives a big push up, we need
Right.
momentum. Like this, a good momentum candle building right here to the upside on the 1 minute. So the next one's gonna probably be a momentum candle after that. God, could be a Titan setting up to the upside. This look like a good Titan right here. Especially going with that momentum heading into 9 o'clock. And this is just get a little bit off of.
Okay, guys, I'm back. What are we doing? Anything?
See, that set us up for a Titan.
Okay. I took a stab at that. I just came back and happened to see it, and I was like, whatever, I'll take it. And the price is right here. It was $130 risk. I went ahead and gave it a
It wasn't that
try.
much.
Yeah. I mean, it was like right at the stop loss. It was It was right there, so I said, "Let me go ahead and give it a try." Sometimes I'm lucky like that, you know. I just come back and it's like, "Oh, hey, by the way." But that's cool. We're at a little area where we might do some stuff. Now, what's this thing look like? Yeah, so this just pushed straight below those. Now let me see. So, all right, we broke below that low, and now we're retesting it. Okay. I see what you're doing here. Darren's over here about to win a trade. I know that. Oh wait, he does a 5 minute. I think he does a 5 minute.
Which one you looking at, Ken?
I was looking at this zone and I was just seeing it break out and I was like, I bet you Darren's taking that trade, but then I remembered you do the 1 minute. I mean, you do the 5 minutes instead of one.
Yeah. We got 10 o'clock coming up.
Yeah. It got bearish yesterday. Could be bullish today.
I mean, we're at the
That would
right
be my guess.
we're at the right spot for it to be bullish if it's gonna be bullish.
That's what I was saying.
It's like reversal time, so
Oh,
we need a nice
is it
move
about to be
down.
10? Oh, nice.
About to be 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make sure I'm totally flat and ready for that. I'm actually gonna need to restart my addis right fast.
Cause it's gonna pop off.
Come here. Oh. I don't know if I'm gonna have this thing up in time or not. I'm trying to get addis open here. What, 10 o'clock, go down, break the low, then do a turnaround? That'd be typical. 10 o'clock, it normally continues to expand or reverses. So it's like, but it's one or the other. Like something's going to happen right around here. All right, new
There it
low.
went. New low.
Big trades. Big trades right there.
It'd be crazy if it was just on that 1 minute. Just the most subtle look.
Trying to look for the first little clue of buyers to step in. I don't want to be early. Kind of close to yesterday's low too. Just to put it out there, yesterday's low is 60 points away. I don't think he's gonna come back.
Unless you want to keep going.
I don't know though. I was already thinking about buying here. I'm flip flopping back and forth now. I know one thing is I'll watch that 8 o'clock candle. You know, watch that 8 o'clock candle. It's got a lot of volume in it. More sellers than buyers in the candle doesn't mean anything besides that during that time they were more aggressive. You know, but watching the reaction afterwards is, you know, is the key thing. So I'll kind of watch that candle range and just keep an eye on it. Like if prices push them below it, you know, then I'll try to switch over to being bias short. But if it starts to curve around and break above it, I might have to do something here. To do something I'm not proud of. 50. 50 is an obvious target. 25 is that low. Getting little buyers in here on that candle there. So, you know, yeah, at this point, Delta's flattened out. I mean, at this point, it's really about looking for your entry. You know, whatever you would consider low enough risk for you. I need to do something, but at this spot here, there it goes. Bam. Any of you guys trade it? It was a little higher on the risk side on NASDAQ, but lowest risk you could have had on NASDAQ was about $200. And you would have had to enter like here.
At the bottom.
At the bottom of that wick. I got it.
Yeah.
I went in on it, but I was a little over 200. But I made 400 on it, so that's a fair trade-off. I'm out, by the way. I just traded, and I traded back to the top of the 10 o'clock candle, and so you see how now we're starting to push up above it right here. And what I've done is I've marked up the body of that 10 o'clock candle, so I'm watching that one right here because, like I said, I want to see how price starts to react to that.
Day 4 yesterday, low. Then Tuesday's low.
Is that which one it went to?
It almost did.
Isn't that weird when it does that? It's like right
Yeah.
there. I don't know. I don't understand it exactly. The only thing that I'm thinking is there must be another group of people somewhere just like us that are like, it's going for the lows. It's going, you know. And so I could only imagine what someone somewhere has
Yeah,
a
in the flag.
software, you know, that shows all the buying and the selling, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like Yep, they're selling. They think it's going to the lows. Yeah, they're all selling. I can see it now. Yep. They're all selling. Okay, hit the button. Just right before
in
the
the bud.
lows. Hit it. Because all right, this was yesterday's low. This was today's low, and then yeah, that was Tuesday's low. One thing we got left is Monday's low, and yeah, but it just said no. I think we're just gonna put the brakes on. Yeah, about 40 points before we touch that level.
That's a that's still a pretty fat pullback though. To
See, that's
go
a
within a couple of days range.
that is a
That's
nice
a fat
pullback.
pullback.
Looks like one big Elliott wave. I can't believe I'm gonna draw this, but it does where you kind of could see the like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you kind of got the A, B, C, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you measure that up, boom, boom, boom. Then it does the whole thing all over.
All over again. If anything, we can get a fat pullback to the upside this hour.
Yeah.
Already got a fat one.
Yep.
But almost 100 point, what good 80 point pullback already.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty crazy. I just opened up and just took off like that.
Mm-hmm. It was just one of them ones. You know.
Mm-hmm. Man, I wish I would have held on to that. I say that every single day, but I took that freaking trade and I got out at $400 profit. I would be at
No,
1,600 right now if I would have held on to that. And
but Ken,
huh?
everybody says that, and then you say, "Yeah, but I really like getting in and out." And then, like on
I
the
know.
flip side, I wish I held it. It's
I
like, you know what,
know.
Ken? Ken, stick to your plan. That's it.
I'm gonna say what I want to say. I could still wish I held it because
I know, I know.
I'll never hold it. I know I'll never hold it, but man, I wish I did. It just
Well, that's like
Yeah, them,
today would have been a perfect example of taking the first Titan and just holding it all the way down for like 150 points.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Today was definitely an easy day for anyone that just used levels, the more I have this quantum trend on my screen, the more I see over and over again these extended periods of time where see like if you tried to trade the candles, it could have been a little bit more difficult. But if you were not looking at the candles and you were just strictly trading this, essentially, if you were like actually trading this as a chart instead, and you were selling with your stops above the high, right? Maybe you took one loss, but then, but then when it broke down below, you sold, had your stops, you would have been able to ride that whole freaking thing down. And I mean, all the way until it turned green if you wanted to. And that would have got you out right down here at the bottom.
Yeah, but Ken, what's even more powerful, add the TV blast with the
Mhm.
quantum.
Oh yeah, and like look for TV
And
blast signals when quantum
yeah,
is
and then I
moving.
mean, and just get out. Sometimes you can, like on the 1 minute, if it's like for today's sell red, you don't necessarily have to get out when it goes gray, but if it goes green, definitely. Or if you start getting a small doji on the quantum, you can get out.
Mm-hmm.
But today would have been, I mean, I didn't, but it would have been a perfect example of like everybody's waiting for the reversal, but it kept going down,
Yep.
down, down, and
Yep.
just, wait until you get like some consolidation. Would have, and we've seen that many times.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it only does a couple things. It only does a couple things every single day. The more and that's why I like it when you guys show up to these live sessions and whatnot because it forces you to kind of and I don't know what you I sometimes I'm curious, like, what is everybody doing? Like, I'm actually sitting here just staring at my computer. Sometimes I'm walking around, but most times I'm just sitting here and I'm staring at the chart. And if I'm not staring at this chart in front of me, I have another chart to the left or the right that I'm staring at. So I'm not scrolling Facebook. I'm not on my phone. Nothing like that. I'm actually sitting here watching the chart. So when you do that like every single day, I mean, y'all see. I know that a handful of you guys that are here every morning, we've talked about it. Like, oh, it's doing that thing. It's doing that thing, and it just does that all the time, over and over again. You just don't know what you're gonna get. It's like it's like the weather. It's like, all right, we're gonna have something today. Don't know what, but we got a 20% chance of this, 30% chance of that. Okay, so check this out. We have
Sometimes if you wanted to, you could only trade when it do that thing. That could be your edge. If it don't do that thing at the 10 o'clock, I'm not even gonna trade today.
that's every time. Hmm.
Yeah.
That is every single time. That's what you know what I don't know if you guys seen it. If you didn't see it, make sure that you do go take the time to look. I was we were yesterday I had shared inside of mentorship chat about how important it is for you guys, like exact Clyde, what you're saying. And I always, there's one thing that y'all know I say over and over and over again, and I keep saying, if y'all want to be successful, I promise you, I'm not a shred of doubt. I know for a fact that I can help you become profitable as long as you'll actually follow the plan that we create. Me and you, we will sit down, we will create a plan. You say you're going to do this, that means you have to do it. And if you will do that, then we will have good data. And what that looks like is when you send that data over to me, and I shared this in chat yesterday, but if you'll send me your performance report from Tradovate, I can come in here and I'll load it into my little system here. And so, here, hold on just a second. Let me redo this. So I want to show you how this looks.
And when you get a chance, can you send me your calendar? Because I want to go over that thing that I sent you last night to see how that can correlate with this that you're talking about right now, how we can piece it together.
Yeah, that's fine. But all right, so look, raw analysis. All right, so this is me telling you, go take 100 trades. All right, I'm asking you to take 100 trades. This is 237 trades. Now, there were some things that I already knew ahead of time when looking at this. I already knew that this person was trading too much. And you can tell. I mean, you can look at the days, look at how many trades are in one day. Right, this is over trading. But I said, you know what? And y'all know, I say, go give me 100 trades. And somebody at one point said, okay, what if I just sit? I can get 100 trades in a week. That's not the goal. The goal is to make sure that your strategy works over time, right? And so these are all Titan trades, 230 Titan trades. There's some mistakes in here and whatnot, but these are actual Titan trades. This comes directly from the Tradovate. Everything in here is on the Tradovate report. This just shows it to me in a little easier to view way, and I can help create a strategy. So the first things first is, look, this is what I'm talking about. This is over trading right here. Let's just get rid of the over trading. Max trades per day. Now, again, this is based on this person's performance. So this isn't based on random Titan. These are all, if he would have just instead taken the first 3 trades that he observed. So he woke up and he said, I'm going to trade today, and just took the first 3 trades, regardless of time. You run analysis. It goes from 237 trades minus $780. And we're talking about $560 in fees. So just to be clear, this strategy here would have been almost break even. Look, um, gross before fees, it was only down $200. So the overall, all in all, this account had $2,800 loss, $2,800 profit. Gross was minus 217 bucks, and net after fees was 780. So as you can see, what's very clear is the profit is getting eaten up by the fees because they're trading micros and over trading. So it's the overtrading, the frequency, everything, all the data points towards overtrading. So let's just go ahead and just get rid of that. No ands, ifs, or buts, just 3 max trades. Boom. That instantly cuts everything down. Now we're looking at 43 trades. This is only $29. I know that nobody's going shopping, but you know that this is all scalable. And see, I don't think a lot of, and I'm not trying to talk down on anybody. I don't think you guys really understand what's going on here. Is that, see, this don't look like an edge to you, but this is $29 profit over 43 trades. Okay. That means that this guy took 43 trades and still had money in his account. What happens if you go take 43 trades? Okay. All right. And now these are all tight ends, 3 per day. Now understand the scalability of this. Let's look at the net loss on these, right? The net loss, the biggest loss you see in here is $50. So that means that we're not risking any more than $50. What if we were risking $200? Then this $29, this $30 could be more like, you know, 36, 90, 100, you know, over $100. And now that's on one account. Okay, that's on one account. And we're talking about from December 15th to January 7th. This isn't even 30 days. So, you know, again, you know, just to put things into perspective, let's say if you know, did have 20 accounts and you were able to scale this up and you were able to do 36, 90, 120, you know, even at that rate, it's 120, 120 times 20 accounts, you're making 2,400 off of that. This is his first round. This guy barely knows, he's just started trading right now. Now again, this is barely even doing any strategy building, and this includes hundreds of dollars in mistakes that we went over anyways. And so, but now there's other things we could do too to increase this. Like, all right, let's now look at these trade times just to also give you an example. 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 8 a.m., 5 a.m., 5 a.m., right? These are very random times. These are, you know, now what if we only trade during 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. as an example, right? So we could do a time window and see how his results would have been. It still would have been profitable because you see what we're doing is limiting the amount of time we're allowed to trade, which limits the amount of trades that we're able to take. We could also do this and say, let's only trade for 1 hour every day, but from open, he's in my state. So I know 7:30 to 8:30. All right. So we could run the analysis on that. Okay. So from 7, only trading Titans 1 hour per day, just 1 hour per day, that would have given you 5 trades since, well, it would have given him 5 trades. He performed 5 trades between those hours, right? And these are the results right here. So there's that, but I can also take it even further. And this is where it gets interesting, is where, like, let's say you just want to stop after 1 loss per day, but you want to keep trading if you're winning. So y'all know that Titans win a lot. Sometimes they're just going a win streak. You get 5 winning trades in a row, right? So, but if the market isn't agreeing, you're just going to stop. So if he would have done that over his entire period of trading times here, if he would have just every day showed up at, let's say, 7:30, and we'll just give him from 7:30 till 3 p.m. You know what? Let's just do like, I don't know what is it here. Let me think about this. This is 3, 4, 5. So I'm gonna say 2:30 p.m. All right, so we're going to do it like that. And we're not doing max trades. And then we hit run analysis. Let me see if I'm doing this right. That's negative. So include daily stop. Let me see if it's like that. I'm missing something here. Stop after that. Run analysis. Okay, there we go. So this is 5 wins or 1 loss. So this is just wide open, 5 wins or 1 loss per day, any time of the day. And as you can see now, again, we're $262. That could be potentially doubled or even quadrupled. That is risking, if you look at the total net loss, the biggest net loss is $50. So, you know, $50 is the biggest loss. So if we increase that to 100 or 200 or something like that, this number would go up a lot. So hopefully, anyways, what I'm trying to do is show you guys that this is why I'm asking for good data. This is what a trade plan looks like visualized. Do you see how this is how your account should look? If I could document on your TradeOvate account, your accounts, what happened on the 15th? What happened? Oh, I stopped because I reached my loss limit. What happened on the 16th? I stopped because I reached my loss limit. Okay, let's see what happened on the 17th. I won one trade. I won the second trade. I won the third trade. I won the fourth. I lost the fourth trade. So you see how I stopped trading because I lost that one trade. Before that, I made 10, 16, 25. Then I lost once I lost that one trade. And I stopped trading for that day. The next day looks just like that. This is me taking what you're doing and saying, now look, if you would have just followed a plan, did the same thing, but actually followed a plan, took the same trades at the same time with your same little fingers, but you actually followed a plan, this is what would have happened. Or you end up doing what you're doing and you end up like this. Right? That's how, one person can use the same strategy and get different results. It's if you can't tell, I didn't change the strategy. I didn't change the strategy, and I didn't even change how much he was risking. All I did was change his risk, his trade frequency and time of day, right? That he's trading, and that can change a non-profitable situation into profitable. So now what me and him do is we're going to sit here, and I've given him, we've gone through this and we've looked at his trades and we've decided, okay, these are the things that need to change in order to make you profitable. Do you like how this looks? Would you like your equity curve to look like this over time? I'm sure, right? That would be nice. If this equity curve could continue looking like that, would you be okay with this? Is that all right? That doesn't mean you win every day. You see, this is what your days look like. Not every day is green, but over time you have more profit than loss. You got to trust your system. And he's going to pick one. He's going to go to it. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to go take 100 trades. We're going to take 100 trades, and then we're going to come right back here. I'm going to load this into here, and we're going to see if we are maintaining that edge. We're going to see if we can improve the edge. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun looking through the data and actually seeing the profitability opportunity in there. But again, got to have good data. So the sooner, I'm saying all this to serve as motivation for you guys that, if you'll stick to your plan, you can't come to me and give me some data. First of all, if you don't have a TradeOvate account that's got, at least 100 trades, I can't load multiple reports in there. I can only load one report. So your one job, the minimum I need from you is the discipline to stick to a strategy and not blow the account over, X amount of trades. So I think that that's a great job. The account that you guys just seen, there's 200 trades on there and the account is not blown. That is somebody that's actually trying. They're trying. They're not trying to get lucky. Let's put it that way. They're trying to execute. They're not trying to get lucky. There's a difference. What do y'all think about that, huh?
Interesting.
That's fine right there.
It's,
That was a good visual right there.
Yeah.
That was a very good visual representation of a lot of stuff that you
The
talked
key,
about.
the
Looks
key
good,
to make
makes
that,
sense.
the key to make that work, though, the way I see it is, like you said, you have to stick to one plan. Like, I'm only taking Titans, or I'm only doing this. If you're doing 5 different things, then that
Yeah.
data is not going to work.
It's a pile of trash. That is why I'm a broken record that says the same thing over and over and over again, because you guys came to me and said, I want to move forward, and I said, I want to help you move forward. I can't do it though. If we can talk about discipline all day long, but you can't take discipline to the bank and ask them for some cash. Like you gotta we need results. And so I love it when somebody sends me a report and they're like, this is about 30 days worth of trading. I'm like, ooh, let's go. Like, as long as it's good, good data. Which, come on, let's get real, guys. Who here wants to succeed? Will you raise your hand? Right? Who wants to succeed? How bad do you really want it? You know, might be a question that some of y'all might want to ask for this new year is like, how bad do I really want it? What does it actually mean to you? Are you willing to just stop trying to get lucky and put in the work? You know, are you ready to make good on all those promises that you made to everybody? I'll help you do it. I mean, you're already in here. You're already, I mean, you're literally already in here and paying for mentorship. I need a report from you. You don't have you don't really have mentors chasing you down, asking you, give me your report so I can help you make $1 million. You know, like, let's win. You can, if you're not doing it now, you could start today. If you have not done this yet and you're in mentorship, or if you're not and you're just listening, pick a strategy, pick a trade plan, and just stick to it. You know, even if you'll just pick a strategy and how much you're going to risk on each trade, even something like that, even if you go crazy and you trade too much and things like that, as long as you will at least have one strategy that you're executing over and over, so you have some kind of consistency there, and you risk about the same amount on each trade. That would be the biggest help in order for me to help you, you know, to actually look at that data and say, all right, if you continue, because see, what's going to happen is I'm going to take your data. Let's see, who's got an open mic with the TV on? Sheldon, will you mute your mic?
You can hear that?
I can hear it this time. Yep.
I can hear it too.
Yeah. So, yeah, no worries. So, yeah. So look, just like Matt said, you guys could send me reports and waste mine and your time, and people do this too, just to be clear. And it's actually it's more obvious than you think it is, but people will try to book a meeting with me and say, yeah, Ken, I did a pretty good job, and you know, and they'll try to talk about the results. I just want to see a report. You know, that's the easiest thing. If you'll send me a report, and that report, I'm trusting that you did good work on your trades, then I'll look through it. If I find a profitable route for you based on that strategy, and I can create a good trade plan for you, then great. But if you can't duplicate it, that's on you. You said that you did it this way or that way, you know. So that, like Matt said, if you're trading 3 different strategies and you're not tracking them all independently, like I've said you have to do, then yeah, this wouldn't work, because how are you going to, I'm going to say, perfect job, go do exactly what you're doing, but now only do it between the hours of this time, only take 3 trades per day. This is the trade plan that was proven to work. And then you're going to sit down and be like, shit, what was I doing? Was I taking Titan? Was I You don't know where your edge is, so you're wasting time. So don't be in love with the idea of being successful in trading. Go and get it. It's an idea first, and then, you know, actually make it happen. Don't just think about it all the time. We got to take certain actions to get those payouts. You got the whole world trying to help you do it. I don't see any super duper clear spots right now. This was like my one. This was the one right here. I know y'all got this one. I got that one. We're right smack in the middle of initial balance. So that'll be our next areas to watch. Watch these areas on...
Or at the session POC as well.
I want to put little lines here.
Or the daily.
Little lines, little lines. So yeah, so mark your 1 hour since open high, range high, range low. I got mine marked up here. And that may be the next play right there. What a move down.
So this analyzation tool you use, it's kind of like it's a strategy dashboard. Looks really fun.
Yeah.
Looks really fun to play with.
Yeah, basically all it is, it's your Tradeovate report. So you know how you guys pull your report every day from Tradeovate and you check your history and you can check your weekly and your monthly history. So all I have him do is pull an entire month or all the history, you know, or whatever. Most people say something along the lines of, you know, they'll say like, do you want me to, they say, do you want me to send it from the very beginning or from when I started to take it seriously? I think that's the funniest thing because everybody says that. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to be an asshole to anybody, you know, but I'm trying to get the message across that you guys are getting your own way. And so anyway, that just reminds me that, you know, every time I say every time I've asked somebody to send me a report, they're like, do you want the whole thing or do you want it from when I actually started taking it serious? Because everybody does it, you know, they all, everyone has their own little plan or whatever, da, da, da. And then finally, bam, it sinks in and they're like, and hopefully I'd really hope like the purpose of me showing you guys what I just showed you today, I really don't want to show other people's results to you guys because that's personal to them. But I'm showing that to you because I want you to have that moment, that clicking moment where it's like, oh, wow, all right, I could see how it works. You know, he was upset. He was upset saying, man, I don't know what's going on. I'm doing it. And I just, you know, I just can't seem to get out ahead. And so it takes somebody else to look at it. First of all, the first thing I saw when I looked at that report, I said, well, dude, you're almost break even. You're actually down $200 if fees didn't exist. Now, why are you drowning in fees? Because you're trading MNQ. Why are you trading MNQ? Because you bought the smallest account and you can only trade micros. Those are all avoidable problems. Just to put it out there. Those are avoidable problems. Those are variables that don't need to exist. So if you can remove those variables, do it. Right. And so, but anyway, so I said, look, you know, you're actually break even. You're down $200 out of all 230 trades. I knew what the real problem was the over trading, but I didn't go straight into that. And so but then it's, you know, it's taking that Tradeovate report, it's taking it off of the report, putting it into a system where the data can be manipulated. So that way, you know, it's the easiest way for me to take what you've already done. We could sit there and look at the report and I could highlight things and I could say, okay, based on staring at this report, I can see that on average you're profitable during this time, that time, or this time. You know, you're typically profitable during those times. So we want to focus on those times. And then it takes a lot of effort, but you could look through and you could say, okay, what if we cut some of these trades out? You know, what if we only trade these specific blocks and this and that or whatever, da da da. And that's what I've always done in the past. And that's what I'll do is I'll based on what we look at, we'll look for very obvious things first, and then once we find really obvious things, then for example, like we could add up all the profit. Like this is when I say an obvious thing, that is, let's add up all the profit and loss from um all the symbols that you trade, gold, NASDAQ, this, that, you know, any symbol that you trade. Let's add up all the profit and loss from that, and let's just see, you know, if it makes sense to trade all those. And it would blow your mind. A lot of times I run, well, you know, now so I used to do all this manually, then I ended up building the thing that I showed you guys. And so you see now at the bottom, it tells me right here, you know, what the net profit or loss was. So if I look at something and I see that there is, you know, after doing my stuff or whatever, if I see that there's just straight up a net loss on another symbol, some people's look different than others, you know. What if you're making $10,000 a month on gold, but you're losing 10,500 on gold, right? So you made 10,000 profit, but you lost 10,500. It feels like you're making money. You could actually be convinced that this is working and you would continue to trade gold. But unless you actually journal it or unless you actually look at your data, you'd never know, wow, it's actually costing me $500 a month plus all my time, plus the risk, plus the effort, you know, everything to actually trade this. I could just stop trading gold. I could save a ton on fees, a ton of time, less stress, and I could, you know, have more money. I could have more money and I could have more margin. I could have more focus, attention span. So you'll never know that unless you actually look at your reports and are tracking the stuff. Most people don't. They haven't thought far enough into that process. They just keep thinking that they're going to get lucky and get rich off of this trading. They don't have any structure to their trading. They're not treating it seriously. And so yeah, taking that, boom, I can manipulate the data. That way I can show you, Sheldon, if you did exactly what you did based on your schedule, the way you click buttons, the way you enter, the way you exit, the way you managed your trade, if you literally did everything you did, but you only did it 3 times a day, or you know, based on all of your data, your strongest potential happens to be between 8 and 12. That's true data, and it's evolving data. We're not going to do this one time and just be done. We're going to continue to look at this. The more data we have, the better, you know, and it's good. And that's something else too, is it's only going to get better. The more data you feed into this over time, good, clean data, the more refined you're going to be able to get. And so I do it for myself. I'll do it for anybody that's willing. I've got only a couple people that have stuck to it long enough to where, you know, we can consistently do this ongoing. You know, a lot of people, a majority of people, they change strategies. They'll just tell me like, hey Ken, you know, I was doing really good job sticking to it, and then I got a wild hair, and the data's not worth looking at. I respect that. I'd rather somebody tell me that than have me waste my time trying to analyze some bad data. But some people get it, some people don't. But I tell you one thing: the people that don't ever try to set up a trade plan like this, they'll never get it. They'll have little random spurts of luck where they'll have little bite sizes of success, but it won't last. So yeah, that tool, Sheldon, to answer your question, is just all it's doing is taking Trade-O-Vate, putting it into a system where I can manipulate the data and kind of run like what if scenarios and if, you know, and that way it serves two purposes. We can create a trade plan that we know would have worked based on previous performance, and it's your own. But we can also visualize it, and that's, to me, that's what I like to show, and that's why I pulled it up, is to actually be able to see how following that trade plan would have caused you to stop trading. Like, I'm going to stop trading because I lost this, like right here, right here. What did I do?
And one of the funnest things with playing with FX books doing forex was all the different ways you can visualize the information, and that to me that gave me something to do, kind of run simulations to keep me from trading. I'll play with this. Like
Right.
I play Skyrim, and I do more research and modding than I play the game. But
Right.
I enjoy it. I mod the piss out of that game.
Yeah, and so being able to take this stuff and mess with it and manipulate it, and visually see it, it helps a lot, and so that's what this is. And this is what, see, I know that nobody, I mean, some people like to do it, some people don't. I've asked people to keep a journal, and they don't really keep a journal. You know what I mean? People don't, they don't stick with it. They don't know what it is. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Most times they don't. But this shows you what a journal would look like, right? And it's very simple. This is as simple as your journal could be. It could be even simpler, right? It could just be, if you always trade MNQ, right? You just do MNQ, win, loss. But the main thing is, this is how this right here, this little section shows how this was created over about 20 days. And and the trade plan was take only Titan trades, stop at 3 trades or 1 loss in a day, which means that we show up, we start trading. If we lose immediately, we just stop, and you can see that displayed right here. So we showed up, we stopped. So if we would have performed that way that day, this is what would have happened. All right, we're done. We're down $7 for the day. Oh, we're down $7 for the day. Okay, now we're up 10, we're up 26, we're up whatever 50, and then we lost a trade. So you would have stopped, right? This right here, this is where normally people keep trading, and then they end up losing a lot more. Or they end up losing a lot more. And then, here's da 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 da. Well, we stopped trading because we won. Okay, so now you see, you could do a lot of things here. You could say, all right, well, what if I kept going? Right? What if I just kept going, and instead of taking 3 trades, I took 4 trades? Well, we could find out what would have happened. If you would have done that, it would have went from 171 to 242. That would have worked based on this data set. Again, we've got only a certain amount of data to work with. The more the better. That's why I want your data. The more the better. And so if you would have done it like that, you would have made a little bit more money. Drawdown's just the same. It's 36 total trades, more than enough. Let's see those fees. $89 in fees. That's nice. $89. 9 winning streak. Worst losing streak was 2 days in a row because we're stopping at just 1. Isn't that easy? Can't you guys do that? Could you just wake up tomorrow, take the first Titan trade that you get? If you lose it, you're done trading. That's when you go give your kid a hug or something, like you're done trading at that point. And now the next day you show up, you take a trade, you win your Titan, bam, go give your kid a hug. Then you go take another trade and you win it, and then you take another trade and you win it. That's 3 trades in a row. You just stop trading. So you show up and you stop trading at 1, lose, or you show up and you stop trading at 3. Could you do that? I'm sure you could. If you could just do that alone, just do that. And let's say if you traded the same time that we already traded, this group right here
I
that's
like
in
that.
here. Let's say 8 o'clock. Let's say 8 o'clock, because y'all know I don't really like to take Titans before 10 o'clock anyway. So that's 8 o'clock for me. Let's say up till 12. Let me see what that looks like. That's 240. Now, again, this is based on his trading. These are just random Titans. Like, these are just random Titans, but these are Titans that was taken between the hours of 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and a couple hours after that. These are the exact same Titans you would have had access to because he had access to them. I had access to them. and bam, this is what you would have done. You would have done it just like that. And so, oh, hold on, I forgot to do this. Okay, there we go. I didn't push the button. So now that's the results
It's the
with time
not
window.
stopping part that's a hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, but doesn't this
It's the not stopping part, and
doesn't this make you want
won't
to
stop.
follow a trade plan? Seeing this
It do.
data
It
visualized
do.
like that?
It do.
Absolutely.
Look at this.
It
Yeah,
do.
Look at this
That's
equity
more
line.
motivation than anything right now.
Yeah, look, this is easy. We can do this. We click these buttons every day. Look at how many are on
We
the
can do
screen.
this.
Bro, look at how many
You
are
either
on the screen.
lose or you win.
Look at this. Look at that. We just need to get in there and take one winner and stop, or take one loser and stop, or take 3 winners and stop. And if we did that, here we go. Now, again, remember, he's risking $50 a trade. I'm risking $500 a trade. Could you imagine the difference in the P&L? $50 a trade versus $250 or $500 a trade. This is one account. We have 20 accounts. You see, it's very, very scalable. This is what I'm desperately trying to get through to so everyone can see. Once you get it visualized, you'll once it sticks. So everybody has that moment where they say, "All right," and then that's what's going to happen. Is we're going to get on a call and you're going to say, "Ken, can I send you my report?" And I'm say, "Yeah, you can send me your report as long as you've got like at least 30 days worth of trades on it." And you're going to be like, "You want me to send it from the very beginning of time or from the time that I started taking it seriously?" I'll be like, "Send it from the time you started taking it seriously." That way let's look at some good data. Like I just want to get you guys excited about that. For everyone that's everyone that's thinking about working with me and doing this, I want you to be excited right now that you're like like it's Christmas. You're about to deliver a little package of some perfect data to me. Like, let's work on this together. Come on, take your trades. Do it on a separate account if you have to. Um, in my order flow course, the
Let,
new one. Yeah, go ahead.
let me ask you this. To give it a shot, what do you suggest as far as do you suggest um going until you lose, or 3 trades, 5 trades? Like, what do you suggest? What do you think is a good starting point?
I like 3. That's my that
Hmm.
I've worked with lots and lots of people, and what I've found is that about 3 trades per day seems to be just fine. So just like what I showed you at the very beginning. So if like I said, this is just a random person's, you know, trade. Luckily, he took a lot of trades. So, this is it's nice that there are so many, and he's and some of y'all may know who I'm talking about, maybe you don't, but the guy I'm talking about that did these trades, he's like into engineering. He's very, y'all know how engineers are. They're very, very mechanical, very engineer like, and so he is very robotic with his trades. And I believe him. I trust him, that he's tech savvy. He knows what he's doing, and so I trust that he's executing these trades correctly when he says that he is. And so luckily, I have just tons of data from him because he took so many trades. He took like 10 trades a day, and so luckily, and around the clock. I don't know how he has managed to trade so much, but around the clock. I mean, 1 o'clock in the morning, 9 p.m. I mean, all the time. And so if we just take the data and we just say 3 trades per day and run the analysis, even that is profit, right? So now what I recommend, this is what I always recommend for everyone, is you decide your strategy. Keep it as simple as possible, because it's you're the one that's going to have to duplicate it. You see why I say keep it simple? Because once we go through your data, and once we go through all of your data, and and we say, oh, look at this, and I say, all right, look, if you would do it like this, you'll be profitable. Now you
Yeah.
already, you see, you've already done this. You don't need to change anything. Now all I'm doing is giving you structure. I'm saying now you only do it this many times, and you only you only do it this many times, and you only do it during this time, you know. And so what will end up happening later is when he sends me this, we'll have new data, and it'll be based on what he's doing from this point forward, and we'll be able to dive into that a little bit further. So I don't see why anyone needs to take more than 2 to 3 trades per day.
And
Every
from
which
there,
way.
you'll be able to refine the process
Mhm.
with that mentee even further
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, that's
until the next report.
the biggest thing too, is just showing people that, because see, he is big into probabilities. He's very, very engineer like, so he has the whole idea laid out that he's going to you know, he's calling it the law of large numbers, you know. And he's like, all right, well, you know, if the probability is this, then over time, because of the averages, it should average out. So in his very mechanical, very logical mind, he's thinking it will average out over time, and the frequency of trades doesn't matter. But what that it does, it absolutely matters, because you have to take fees into effect. You have to take little variables and mistakes into effect, and you know, there's different things that you have to, volatility. I mean, you know, you're not going to make the exact same on every single trade. There's so many different things to take into effect that you can't just say, oh yeah, I'm sure it'll average out over time. I could just sit here and trade all day long. And so I looked at this data, because he had so many trades every single day. You know, I was able to basically look at it and analyze it. And then of course I even had AI analyze it, and even AI was like, there's an edge here, but the edge is completely getting blown away by over trading and the fees. Any which way you looked at it, if the sweetest spot, any which way you looked at it, the sweetest spot was around 3 trades. If you take about 3 trades per day, you know, you could take 4, and that'll do good in some places, but not in other places. But like the best, most balanced place is about 3 trades per day. And most of the oh, the other thing, see, this is a huge surprise to him, which it always is. People never like to see this, but this was like a slap in the face, because when you're on a 25K account, $500, we're talking about $500 loss. Imagine I could show you how to, you know, you have your report and you're negative, and I could show you how to just simply remove $500 in loss from it. Well, that was one of the examples where it was like there in the afternoon, right? AM trading versus PM trading. It's the same thing. Like I said, you could trade gold every day, and you can make 10,000 over the month. And you know, you had wins and you had losses. You made a total profit of 10,000 over the month, but you had a total loss of 10,500 over the month. You lost 500, and it's sneaky because it felt like you made money, but you actually lost 500. That was his situation, except for he was trading in the morning and in the afternoon. That's why I say that if you're going to trade in the morning and in the afternoon, think about that ahead of time. Prepare yourself. Look at it as almost like a totally different trading day. You have rules for session 1 and rules for session 2. Well, I took all of his data and I said, all right, give me all of the AM profit. Basically anything that started with AM. Give me everything that says AM, and give me everything that says PM. By removing the PM trades, we remove $500. Plus, could you imagine the hours? Y'all know you spend some hours in the afternoon because the market is moving slow. A lot of times the market's just barely ticking around. You're sitting there watching a trade forever in the afternoon. By stopping him from trading in the afternoon, he is gaining back $500. So, you know, and so it's like that. So you be sitting there trading and trading, you think that it's worth it. You're like, oh yeah, this is good. I'm gonna take my trade. It's the afternoon session. I'm gonna be disciplined. I'm gonna sit down, and you win and you lose. And let's say you either win or you lose during that afternoon session. Fine, but if you look at it over time and you've done more losing than winning, doesn't it make sense to just stop trading the afternoon session? Now you get your time back, you get your afternoons back, and you get your money back.
That make a lot of sense right there. So if you gonna do your 3 trades, so if you just win that first one, you'll stop. But then if you win that first one and win that second one, you'll stop if you get this a third loss. So you're just going pretty much until you lose, whether you lose the first one.
So that plan that I showed you was
Mhm.
set up on, how was that one set up on? It was set up like you have three total trades. So hold on, let me look at this right fast. Is it red zoning? Let me see. Nope. All right, I was about to take that. I'm glad I didn't. Where are we anyways? Ooh, that looks like a nice buy. Right below the low, like at least a little TP action. Come on. Uh, let me just see. Let me see if it's got anything here. Oh, this is that area that oh no, I didn't share that with you guys. This is something else. Okay, whatever. So it hit TP without me getting in it. So that specific plan that I talked about was, the plan was stop at 1 loss or stop at 3 wins. You could have 2 wins and then a loser comes in, so you're forced to stop, right? Or you could have 1 loss and then a loser comes in, so you're forced to stop. Oh, and by the way, his TP is 0.5. I should have mentioned that. He's not even going 1-to-1. So there's so much room for improvement on that strategy. He's not even going for a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2. All those trades that I just showed you there, that is 0.5. That's using the Titan the way it was designed to be used. Just strictly straight out of the box. That's no trade management, no extra, no nothing like that. Just taking trades. That's not even going 1-to-1 R. That's just a 0.5. So y'all could imagine that. I mean, there's what we're developing right here, right now, is a baseline strategy. It's what I always mention. It's the baseline. That way you can build on top of it. You're always going to be trying to get a little bit better. If you're anything like me, or I think like most trader people are, you're always going to try to improve your edge. Why wouldn't you try to make some more if you could, especially if you're learning more? But you'll always have old faithful that you always come back to. You're always going to have 1 or 2 or 3, strategies that you've actually made money with, that actually work. And sometimes I just overwork myself and I don't feel like looking for edges, and it's so nice to be able to just default to my baseline strategy. I can just show up. Sometimes y'all might not notice it because I'm pretty high energetic all the time anyways, but some mornings I come in here and I don't feel like discovering or exploring. I'm just gonna trade. I'm gonna do my basic, most simple, let me find a trade, let me take the trade, okay, I'm done. It's just default type of action. So, but yeah, Clyde, to fully answer it, that specific plan was 1 loss or 3 wins, and I already closed it. But you see what that looks like. Not every single day. The big there were 2 losing days in a row, right? But that means you lost 1 Titan trade, and then the next day you lost 1 Titan trade. So you're down 2 losing trades for the entire week. Then Wednesday comes around, there's a very good chance you're about to win 3 Titan trades right there on the spot. You're going to win 3 Titan trades. And then you're going to stop, and then you're going to do it the next day. And then you either win or you lose, and you do it the next day, and you do it the next day. You don't have to figure out, is it going to work today? All you got to do is let the data show improves if that works, and you just click the buttons. It's the strategy's job to be profitable. Strategy and trade plan. Your job is execution.
Well, let me turn down my radio. Hold on.
Well,
So I could vouch for everything. So I could vouch for everything that you said. I have done it. Like prime example, this morning I was up yesterday afternoon. I took one trade during the evening section and I got out. This morning I said, okay, I'm going to do it. This is my day. I got up to 25.7 something. Then I don't know what I did. I put in 2 buys, and it turned around, went the other way, lost $730. And I don't know what happened, how I did it, or nothing. And I was already up. So for me, I should have got out. But no, let me see if I could make more money so I could finally pass something. So that's me all day long. So for that, that mindset, it still has to change, that I don't have to win so much. And y'all know at first I was like, I won, I'm out. Usually by 8 o'clock, I'm basically finished, but I just keep going. For what reason? Just that mindset, trying to get more money. So listening to you today, I use it at 9 o'clock. I stop anyway. So I'm out. Thank God I don't made it back up for what I lost. I'm not up to 700, but I'm still in the thing. But I know.
Yeah,
But
well,
I do. So
you'll get it. That's why I show up every day. It always hits at the right. Sooner or later, you're gonna puke. You know what I mean? Sooner or
yeah.
later, you're going to say, I can't do this anymore. Enough is enough. Sooner or later, you will decide to get out of your own way. People only change when it has become extremely uncomfortable for them. And right now,
Yeah.
what's going to happen is it's very simple. Either people give up on mentorship totally. It's their own fault.
Mhm.
If you join mentorship and you don't take advantage of it, I'm here. I'm here every single
All right.
day, and I'm literally like, I can't try any harder. And so I said my goal is to make multiple 6-figure trader. Every single person I want to be making 6-figure payouts, no ands, ifs, or buts. That's my goal, my
Yeah.
own personal goal. I need willing participants. I'm
Mhm.
actively looking for people that want to take trading serious, that want to stick to a plan. And what's going to happen is there's two things. People will see other people start succeeding at high levels, and that's going to force them to stick to it. But they will be late.
Mhm.
All of you listening
Yeah.
that haven't decided yet, you're already late. Just putting it out there. You're already late in regards to the wave. Let's just call it a wave. I started mentorship back up, and I started working with people, and look at it like one wave, one cycle of people. We are cycling right now. I can see it happening. The messages I'm getting, you guys see it too, because look at the different stuff that I'm talking about and showing you guys. We're reaching new levels, but not everyone's reaching it at the same rate. And I'm trying to get everyone to be on at the same speed. That's what I really wanted, was for everyone to be at the same speed at the same time. But unfortunately, I'm not there all the time. So people blowing accounts, I gave you guys the plan to not blow an account. I told you how much to risk. I told you this, all of that stuff is available. And it's obviously possible. You just looked at it. You saw an account that had over 200 trades on it, and the account wasn't blown. That's intention. That's on purpose. That's discipline. All right. And I'm just saying this for whoever needs to hear it. You want to be a trader. Everybody knows that has decided to be a trader that one of the first things that you hear, and one of the things that you're going to hear 1,000 people say, is discipline, 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 right? Everyone's going to talk about trader discipline and trader discipline. And it's not some kind of magic special trader discipline that sets traders apart. It's literally, it is the word discipline. It means do what you say you're going to do. That's discipline. You say you're going to stick to a plan, have the discipline to stick to a plan. That's the discipline. That's the only discipline that it requires, is to stick to a plan. But the thing is, that they don't tell you is that once you stick to a plan for 30 days, it's a habit. And it's easy after that. It's just the first 30 days. Once people stick to a plan long enough, and they have a click moment. They all have it. I've witnessed it time and time, hundreds of times. It changes the trader forever. Once they finally stick to a plan one time and they start to realize, oh, I get it. I'm profitable. They're like, I am profitable. I was profitable all along. I just kept screwing it up because I had no plan. They think that they're responsible for the profitability. Therefore, they're constantly searching for strategies. They're constantly looking for the solution to profitability, but it's not in a strategy. It's not in it's a two-part thing. It's in a strategy, but they're buying strategies. It's like buying a strategy and using it blind. Of course it's not going to work. And then they blame the strategy, and then they go get another strategy and put on the blindfold. And oh no, that strategy didn't work. Let me take my blindfold off and go look for another one. Oh, I found another strategy. Let me put my blindfold back on. Let me try this one out over and over and over again. And somebody that actually has success is standing on the outside watching, like, what are you doing? I'm just watching people go from one to another. There's $300, $500, $1,000, and I'm just like, I'll see you in 2 weeks. It's like, just stick to it. Have a plan and stick to it. The discipline that people are talking about that a trader needs to have, the minimum. This is not a hard ask from an adult. The minimum discipline, the minimum thing that we need as a trader is we need to be able to say, we're gonna risk $200. We're gonna take 3 trades. We're gonna stop. If we can't do that as a trader, how do you expect that you're gonna manage millions of dollars and make 6 figures? You can't even manage 3 trades a day, but you're supposed to manage millions. That doesn't make sense. And that's why it's fleeting and it's leaving you, and it's not here because you haven't structured it in your mind the right way. So that's why I'm here. I'll continue to
That's the
show up.
real spill, though, man. That's the
Mm-hmm.
real spill.
It is. I hope it motivates somebody. I'm telling you, that's what I'm
Yeah,
here for.
that's real spill.
I'm spreading the gospel. It's up to you to to hop on.
Yeah, man. I think everybody here can attest that success is not in their hands a lot of times because we just pluck it right out of our own hands. And man, just you done showed so much and said so much today to where, man, if you really didn't get a fire lit up under you, I don't even know if you really want it, because at some point you got to say, all right, enough's enough, man. I'm tired of playing these games.
Yep.
And
So,
I
Kenneth,
know
I have a
I've been getting there.
I'm here.
quick question on the 3 trades, and then the 1 loss. So I have set my limits to a certain number for daily profit and daily loss. So instead of, should I just keep the daily loss and then remove the daily profit so that it allows me to do the 3 trades in case I can make more than what my profit goal was?
This is what this is what you do. Don't base your trade plan on his trade plan. His trade plan is based on him and his trades and the actions that he took. I'm just showing you guys how I'm taking his actual efforts and creating a proven plan. What you need to do is what we agreed on. You need to decide how much you're going to risk. You need to decide on the
Yeah, then I'll
strategy,
just leave it at that.
and then just
Okay.
go take 100 trades. It's so simple for you. Yeah, you don't got to think about nothing. I want you to make it so simple that it's boring and mindless. You show up, you're like, oh my god, like okay, and then finally you
No,
have
I
your
only did, I won and I lost it today, and so yeah, because I did get fat fingered, and I was actually on the wrong I went to ES by accident, and I was like,
okay.
oh, shit. So then I'm sitting on my hands since the beginning, and that's
Yeah.
it. I'm not doing anything else.
Now see, and that's why, like, I don't know. Again, you don't ever know until you know. So it's like what we need is what you have a plan, and your plan is simple, and you've written it down. It's very clear. It's very clear to me. It's very clear to you. Your strategy is very simple. The most important thing is that your strategy is very duplicatable. That's why I say, that's specifically, Gabriella, I told you, you said I got these 3 other things on here. I said, look, if you don't need them, don't put them on there, because those 3 things have to be present. Once we find the success for you, once we find the right trade plan for you based on your own efforts, you need to be able to duplicate exactly what you did, which means you're just going to show up and click buttons again. You're just going to do the exact same thing, but you're going to do it in a more structured way. And so we don't know what that looks like. You know, you might just do what you're doing right now. You've set up your trade plan, you've set up your strategy, you go take 100 trades, you might already be profitable. Even if you're in the red right now, by the time you reach your 100th trade, you might be profitable. What we're trying to determine is, does your strategy possess an edge or not? If it possesses an edge, we will then start to build. That will act as the foundation. See, what that report that I showed you, that is a foundation, but it wouldn't have worked. That was us identifying, look at this. If you continue doing what you're doing, it will not work. We have to make changes now. And these changes, we're going to implement them, and then we're going to track them again. And then we're going to see, did that increase our edge? And if it did, perfect. We're still going to try to increase it. You know what I mean? We're probably going to increase it till we break it. There's going to be a point, right? That's how it always is. Like, you will continue to sharpen it and sharpen it and sharpen it until you are just like, all right, I don't see any other way that I could make this better, you know, without overfitting, which is something to be aware of. And again, luckily y'all don't got to worry about that because I got you covered. I already know I already know all about that. So yeah, so we'll get you, anyone and
Okay.
everyone. All you got to do is clarify your strategy. Keep it very simple. How much are you going to risk on each trade? And go get 100 trades. Try not to take them all in one day. Obviously, you know, having a little bit of a plan is fine. I don't think anyone should need to take more than 3 trades per day, personally. Now, as you've seen, I've worked with multiple people that take 5 to 10 to 15 trades per day. And every time I run the data through, it never, ever makes sense to take that many trades in a day. It never ends up being more profitable. The first thing I always do when somebody gives me their report, the very first thing I always do, as they're talking, they're like, yeah, and I did this and I did that. No. I'm taking that report as they're talking. I'm stripping the data out, and I'm organizing it and manipulating it where I can see, okay, forget what you did. I know what you did. I can see what you did. I can see how many trades you take. And what I do is I immediately go in there and I look at the trades and I remove everything after the 3rd trade of the day. So I just cut, you know, if they took 10 trades, I cut the other 7 off. You know, if they took 6 trades, I cut the other 3 off. That way the data that's left is, okay, let's just say you woke up and you took the first 3 trades that day and then you just stopped. Let's just rewind history and let's just say you took those same exact 3 trades. The trades that you took that are on your report that has P&L that really happened, not fake, not simulation, not nothing like that. We're going to take those trades and we're just going to look at it and let's just see what would have happened if you would have only taken 3. Oh, look at that. You're profitable. All that stress, all that trying to figure it out, that whole month of thinking and, you know, wondering, is this working? Why is this guy got me clicking these buttons? And you know, it doesn't look like it works. And then you should see the relief that comes over people when they're like, whoa, I was actually doing it, but I was doing it too much. It's like you going to work and doing extra work for free. Your boss is looking at you like, what the heck? I'm not going to pay this guy for that. Like, I don't know what he's doing. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't go to work and work extra for no reason. Some people, but yeah, we'll get you. You're on track, Gabrielle, and everyone else, right? Everyone else, if you're going to be doing this, I need clean data. Let's just keep it real super simple. Give me clean data. That's all I ask for. Give me clean data, and I will find success for you. We'll do it together.
I love it, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So, hey, let me ask you this: what account size do you think is gonna be best with? Because with you saying everything and how MNQ is with the fees. What's
Yeah.
a decent account size where you can trade NQ and still not be
Well,
like, oh my God, you know?
I passed those 50K accounts on NASDAQ. I never touched MNQ one time. So, you know, now I did go a little heavier on those two. I will say that it was, I don't know, I felt a little weird about it because look, the very first time I did this, I had 300K accounts. I had a lot of room and I was way under the rules. Okay, so my first experience going through evaluations was smooth. I mean, it was slow, but I was fine with that. But it was smooth. I never felt like, oh man, like if that would have lost, you know, the things could have been a little different. Now, when I did the 50K accounts, all right, I was doing 50K accounts. I already had the 300K. It kind of felt like a waste of time, right? I was kind of like trading demo money. That's what it felt like. But I'm so used to trading the 300K accounts that I was having trouble like switching down, you know, to the lower amount. So I was really risking probably easy 150, sometimes $200 um, on my trades, and that was on a 50K account. So I didn't blow them. I didn't blow them. I never got close to blowing them, but those losses hit a little different. You know what I mean? When you lose like, you know, $200, $250 on a 50K account, it's a chunk. You know, it's a little chunk of that trailing drawdown. So it's a lot more than 5%. You know, it's a lot more than 5% of the trailing drawdown. So I was just so under with my first round. It felt a little stressy doing it on the second one. But some of y'all, you have higher risk tolerance than I do, I can tell. So you might be fine on these 50K accounts trading NASDAQ, and you have to look for trades between $100 and $200. I don't see why nobody couldn't do it. You know, have a plan. Again, $200. Just think about the math and the drawdown. So you have $2,500. Think of your max daily loss, right? How much are you willing to lose in a day? Or you could do, what is it? 125 is 1% of the trailing drawdown. So 125, 125, 125, that's 375. 375 total in a day. So 375, 3, 6, 9, 12. That's 4 losing. Yeah, that's pretty much the max. I personally wouldn't go above that. It's somewhere in like 375 per day as your max loss. Dude, you got $375 to make even a 200, 250 or whatever. I can leverage 375 a day and pull $150, $200 out of the market and then call it quits. You know, and then do that, dude. You're gonna pass it fast. And let's say if you make $200 a day, 2, 4, 6, 8. I mean, you're gonna pass that 50K eval pretty quick. And that, again, that is if you're doing something. See, the reason I say, all right, let's say if you're risking $400 a day. I'm gonna use flat numbers so it's easier. If you're using the Titan and you're doing a 0.5 risk to reward, which means that you're doing, let's say you're risking, you know, $100 to make 50, just as an example. Or let's say you're risking, $100 to make 50. So if you're risking $100 to make 50, then, and let's say you have a $300 max loss for the day. Okay, so $300 max loss, risking $100 per trade. That means 3 losers. You could have 3 losers before you're done based on your trade plan. But see, what people remember, your take profit is 0.5. So that means you're only making 50. You can't have a plan that says, I'm going to have a max loss of 300 and a max profit of 300. Do you see how you're going to be chasing that P? And you're going to be chasing your wins because it's going to take 3 losses to hit that number, but it's going to take 6 wins to hit that number. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to have to take 6 trades You're gonna take 6 trades. Best case scenario, you win them all. That's not gonna happen every single day. So you end up in this battle of P&L trying to get to $300 while only risking $300 while having an inverted, risk reward. Your days and trades need to match the risk and the risk to reward. They need to match up to where, if you're risking $100 to make 50 and your max loss is 300, then you're stopping at 150. That's actually obtainable. You could actually do that without fighting the market all day. Now, what does that look like? Well, if you had a strategy that was 0.5 and let's say it was a 0.5 risk reward, you risk $100, you make $50, you take 100 trades, you win 85 of them, you have an 85% win rate, you're profitable, right? You're profitable on those trades. You took 100 trades, 0.5 risk reward, you're profitable. Now the same applies if you traded for 85 days and on 85 of those days you made $150 and on 15 of those days you lost $300, you won 85 out of the $100, you are profitable. Your trade plan and your risk to reward is the same concept, winning rate and all that kind of stuff. Just I call it trades in days, like, and make sure those things match up, like your risk to reward. Now, if you're going 1-to-1 on every single one of your trades, then yeah, it makes sense. I'm risking $100 to make $100 and I'm going to stop at $300 profit or $300 loss. That's pretty doable. You could probably do that right there. But doesn't it sound easy? Look, I got $300. I got to go make 150. I can do that. And I'm pretty confident I can do that 85% of my time, which means that I can be profitable. As long as this all comes back to a trade plan, which is what, I've kind of spent most of the time talking about this morning, that trade plan. Does that answer your question? I forgot what your question was.
Yeah, that answered my question.
All right.
Yeah, that helped out a lot.
Sweet.
Because a lot of times it's just seeing where you need to go as far as with it. And like you said, that 50K account, you still traded in Q with it.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
noticed some days too that them fees do add up. You think you got a good week, but add about $400 to it, $500 to it, because them fees will take you up on MNQ.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Like that one guy, the one that I'm showing you guys about, man, it'd have been a lot of money. Well, no, it wouldn't have been a lot of money. It would have been $200, negative $200. Sheldon, your mic's on. It would have been negative $200, but that's over 237 trades. Like it's actually a pretty good job at staying break even. That's an almost edge. That's an easy almost edge right there.
That pretty much puts the 25Ks out of range. Sounds like
it kind of does, but we're kind of new to the whole idea of the 25K accounts. I like it. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but well, you know what? Let me put it this way: it's not out of range, but you can't over trade. Like you see, like I came up with a plan for him on the 25K account. It will work. It's not gonna be as fast as what everybody thinks that they want it to be, but at least it's actual progress. You can spend time doing a lot of things, but do you want to make progress, right? And so the plan,
I think if you stuck to one trade a day, you could do it on a 25K account.
you can absolutely do it as long as you're
If
okay
you
with the
just
amount
went
of
to
time.
one loss a day.
Yeah, either like one win or one loss.
Yeah, or you just went until you lost. If you won the first one, then
Oh
you
yeah,
kept
yeah,
on
yeah.
going until you got a loss. Or you won 2 in a row and you stopped.
Right. Let me see. I'm gonna run some of the data and see what it says here. Yeah, I
Let's
can't.
see.
Now this is his data, right? Luckily, I trust that the data is good, but
Yeah, we got something we're working with now.
I wish I had like a log of every single trade that happened throughout the entire month, you know, like an ongoing log of every single trade, so that I could actually say, okay, based on every single Titan that came out, you know, this is what the data says. Might be able to do it one day. Who knows?
Look like we finna shoot to the upside a little bit.
Yeah. Let me look at it on my other chart. Yeah, this market went totally boring. It's not in a predictable area for me. All the action for me was when it dipped down here. This was the one thing I was waiting for, and I was able to capitalize on it. So I'm happy. I'm not up very much because I took losses before I took my win. So I'm barely up right now, but I am green.
You know what?
Hmm.
On a lot of the times on the trade plan, sticking to it, you'll notice that you'll get to learn to start accepting those losing days. You
Yeah.
won't try so hard to make every day a winner.
Yep. Yeah.
Because some days it's, man, live the trade another day.
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
and that's it's funny you say that, because that is my experience looking at reports. Is it's funny. It's not funny, but it is funny because it's just that, like, when I look at a majority of reports, people don't have losing days. They have winning days, and they have account blown days. It's like they refuse to have just a regular. There's no record of just losing days. Like, oh, okay, I can see that you made some money that day and you lost some money that day. No, it's like you either made some money, or you damn near blew the account, or you blew the account that day. You know, huge losses. It's very disproportionate. It doesn't make any sense. You know, looking at the data, it's like, all right, looking at it, it just doesn't make sense. So you're 100% right. Is being able to accept that some days are just losing days, and that's okay. Some days you win, some days you lose.
especially if you want to, and I'm just thinking for myself because I'm just contemplating some things because, I'm thinking about coming back to the mentorship and everything next month. So I'm looking at it as far as if you want to sit down and you like, okay, I want to get excited about this. All right, get excited about the days where you wake up and you got one trade to take and the first
Mm-hmm.
one's a L.
It's an easy
You
day.
still that same excitement still need to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because and a lot of times, it's going that's the only way they're gonna build the trust in it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I'll say this, I didn't stick with it long enough to build the trust with it. That was my problem.
Right.
That was my problem. I kept on. I would stick with it for a while, catch some bangers, but then I would be on to something else at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what seems to happen too. That's what seems to happen to most people, is they just don't stick with it long enough. That's all it comes down to.
Hmm.
And
And that was
you
and
never
just what
build
you say,
confidence.
just it sounds so easy, man. The way you just said it, man. 3 trades a day, 2 trades a day, like. Why we sitting here taking all these 25, 30 trades for this man just said 2 trades a day will get you there.
Because they're trying to get lucky. That's it. You're
Yeah,
trying to
that's
get
it.
lucky. You think you're gonna
Yeah, that's it.
get there a little quicker.
Yeah,
And the
dude,
worst the
I think I'm speeding it up, but I'm slowing it down.
yeah, it is. It's exactly the truth. See, I just wish that there was a way that I could reach through and smack somebody into some sense. Like, don't you see what you're doing? Because I'm telling you,
Yeah.
from the it's like, look, you guys have kids now, and a lot of y'all have kids, and or nephews and nieces, right? Like those kids that they be testing you, they're like they think you're stupid. They're doing these things, and you're sitting there and you're like, you're making it hard on yourself. Why are you doing it that way when I showed you a better way of doing it? You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
no, they're gonna do it the way they want to do it, and it's like,
the way they want to do it.
and
Yeah,
and so all I can
yeah.
do is
No
lead
matter
by
what you
example.
want for 'em.
Yeah.
No matter what you want for 'em.
Yep.
I know I'm going through something like that with my oldest son now. I know exactly what you're talking about with him in this college.
Yep.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So you're exactly right, man. And it's a plan that's very repeatable. You know what to expect every day. You can say that you'll get a lot of time to watch instead of like worried about the next trade. I got this, I got that. You just get to watch because you'll be like, I done already took my trades, or I'm outside my window to trade. Because what if you just did it for like a couple hours? What if it was just like, let's just say from I'm in Central Standard Time, so I'm gonna say market time from like market hours, right? 10 to 12.
Yeah, I think I think that would be great. I don't know if it would, be the perfect thing for you, but that is why it's important that we can just work together. That's the easiest way to clarify that, is to just do it. Have a
To
strategy.
do it, yeah,
Otherwise we're just talking about it. That's all we're ever doing, is just talking about
yeah,
things. Let's talk about
you're
it,
right,
come up with a plan, do it,
and
and
do it.
then
See,
revisit it and say, okay, how
and
did
then
we do?
see,
Now let's move forward
yeah,
again, over and over and
yeah,
over again.
yeah,
That's how I
you're
move,
right.
and so that's that's how you do it. That's the only way to actually make progress. If you really break it down to its most simple form, that's how
Yeah,
you make progress. So we could talk about, what if we do it like that. We could do a lot of things, yeah, and they might work, they
yeah,
might not, but guess what, we'll never know. And we could talk
no,
about it, but we won't have, and we'll have a certain level of confidence. But that's why I'm saying I can't sell confidence. The confidence, the true, soul deep, heart deep, brain deep, whatever confidence that you get from actually sticking to your plan and seeing it work out, can't be sold. It's something that you experience and that you build over time. That's the development of a trader. So, I just, if I could leave anyone with anything, is just seriously look at what you're trying to do. You are stepping into a multi-trillion-dollar per day money pool, and competing with, supercomputers and whatnot. And you're saying that you want to go in there and potentially make a full-time living by clicking these buttons. Like, you want to do this and you want to trade, but you have to actually think about your approach. Like, are you approaching this like some kind of a hobby or a game, or like, like, see these YouTubers with their Lambos on, and all their cameras and mics and fancy lights and stuff. They're making it look like, yeah, man, we're just out here on the beach chilling and we're trading and it's that. First of all, we don't know anything about those people or what they're doing long term and consistently, so don't compare yourself to those people. Like, nobody is the same. You don't know if they're profitable. Them being profitable has nothing to do with you being profitable. Like, it has nothing to do with you. So don't compare what their success looks like with what your success looks like. And so, yeah, if I could leave people with anything, is just really think about what you're getting into, and are you really going into this with an actual plan? Like, does your plan actually make any sense at all, or do you even have one? And if the answer is no, then that's where you should be starting. Is let's I need to talk to somebody that can help me develop a really good plan, somebody that has success, that's willing to sit down and say, okay, how can we make this work? I'm ready to commit to it. We're right back at that low. Again, interesting little area. I wonder if we actually go down there to that old Tuesday low now. Mhm. Mhm. All right. Initial balance is daily low. Remember what I told you guys? These are like the key areas that we should watch. Oh, we already hit this one. Nobody.
Yeah.
I didn't even. I put a line here and I didn't put an alert. I should have put an alert on there because look, reversal right off of it. Easy reversal right off of it. I'd have probably sold in this candle, or maybe I could have sold in this one here. I could see opportunity right here. I just I might have sold in this one, but if I sold in this one, I definitely took some heat because I would have been late. My prime entry would have been here. What I could see is me probably entering here as price pushed down below there, and I would have probably used the high of this because of the risk. Just knowing how I trade, that would have been an easy one. I don't even trade this symbol, but price action wise, oh look at this. Oh my God, ES, how are you? How are you right there and you just didn't touch it? And gold. Oh, and gold done broke out of there too. Gold has broke out and some.
Oh, showing out.
Yeah, it is.
Some days you just can't go wrong buying gold.
I think yeah, it looks like about to get a tighten right here. I think I might front run that tighten and get out in front of it while the risk is low, and trade down to the low a day, which is, let me say, it didn't work. It was a good try. Well, that'll be. I think that might just be it for me. Back at that same zone. I know that we're gonna go below the low. I mean, ain't no way that we came all the way back down here. We don't go to that low. We came down here, retested our volume zones, and we came right back here in the low. There's this low here, but remember we're looking at. I think we said Tuesday low, which is here. What is that? 40 points below day low. I don't know. Maybe we do it in the afternoon session. I was short. I was biased short, and it caused me to be blind to that flush that just happened right here. It's shift in delta. The freaking delta started to shift in this candle. So I was just completely, totally blind to that. This was doing a flush style trade right here. It didn't do it at the low of the day, but everything else for price action was there. You can see that it. You can see right here. Everything. All right, so as price came down, right? Look at delta being flat and divergent, right? Here's delta, and you can see, and then you can see what it's doing there. But then look, sellers stacked down at the bottom. Price failed to continue lower. Candle opened up. Price failed to continue to go lower. Never even really tried to go lower. But there was stacked imbalances of sellers right down here and here, and then yeah, once it broke that high, this sucker just flew. So let's see what the risk would have looked like. Yeah, it would have been a $300 risk at open of this candle. So normal case 315. If somehow you got in on the retest, the best case scenario would have been 235, and the most expensive trade would have been $400. All of these would have fit my risk parameters, but look at what happened was price pushed down into that level, sellers pushing hard, stacked imbalances, seller, 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 seller. You can see it all throughout here. You can see the delta. You can see the delta. And then in this candle, we actually had a big positive delta shift right here. So I know that the delta was still more aggressive selling than buying, but look, it was divergent. It failed to make a new low, and we had a huge difference. Like the delta in this candle was minus 363, right? And so from there we came in at a delta change of positive 316 minus 47. So a big shift between this candle, seller aggression, and this, right? And this is a positive shift. So that's why it's green. So and then this is where buyers actually stepped in. You can actually see the difference in the like microstructure of the candle, from stacked imbalances, aggressive selling, to stacked imbalances, 100 contracts printed right here at this price, stacked imbalances at the top, and then obviously it's just out of there from there. That was a good flush, but I was blind. Any of you guys that are in here in mentorship, have you guys been digging into the order flow course?
It's on my list, but I haven't had time to do that yet, but I'm definitely going to.
All right.
I'm still finishing the other video so that I can get to that one. So my intention is for that to happen today.
All right. All right. All right. free money in there for anyone that has access to it. If you're not actively working on something right now, like if you're not actively, doing something and you have access to the order flow course, I would highly recommend going into it and looking at that. It's gonna open. I put a lot into that. Not just like order flow is one thing, but in order to trade order flow, the way that you look at the market is a little different. So I tried to make that very clear.
It's good. I'm 50 pages into it. I'm just taking my time with it here, Ken.
Good. Everything working for you? Good. Understand?
I'm still. It's confusing to me so far, but I'm just going to take your advice and go through the whole thing.
Yep. Yeah.
And then go and then come back and dissect it, kind of.
Yeah, it's a little bit different thinking about the market that way, huh?
Excellent. I'm excited.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off of here. Next major event time wise would be 2 p.m. So around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have some little events that we look for each day, and if you know about them, then you know about them. And for example, one of them was this candle right here. Right, there's a reason why this specific candle is highlighted here. This is our 8 o'clock candle. I've talked a lot about this in the past, and a lot of this candle is used often. I mean, you could see I know it doesn't look crazy, but look, it's got more volume than all the other candles as well, right? Out of the entire day, everything that we can see, this was the opening candle. How is it that our 8 o'clock candle has almost the same amount of volume? You see, there's at 8 o'clock, there's some things that happen in the market. So you want to pay attention to how price reacts to this price level. Think of it like a level, not just a candle. The candle don't look special. Nothing about this candle looks special. It literally looks like a regular candle. Any which way you look at it, if I look inside of it, there's some decent amount of orders in there, but there's literally nothing special about the candle besides the location, the price range, and the timing, right? And then what are the chances that price comes back to it later, retests it, kind of wicks below the low? I mean, this is like a liquidity test on a candle. It's not even at the low, but it's perfect. Next one is at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I like to watch that 2 p.m. candle. I notice a lot of times things happen there, and I'll show you on mine real quick. Let me go look for it. It's in the afternoon. Let me just see what yesterday did. I don't even know. So I'm saying 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that's going to be 12 my time. 12. 12. So 12 o'clock. All right. So this, again, this isn't anything crazy, but just hear me out. Look, I know it doesn't look crazy in terms of it's just a candle, right? And this one, let me make sure I'm right on the time. Hold on. 12. It's 12 o'clock here. 2 p.m.
We had a 1 minute Titan win.
Nice. I'll go look at that here in a sec. But anyway, look, 2 p.m. Candle comes in. How does price react to it? It breaks below. It cannot break above it, right? So what's wrong with selling this right here, right? If you literally see that it cannot break above, what in your mind would not tell you, let me try to sell this with my stop above the high and risk $40 on NASDAQ? 40 bucks. You can't go to the grocery store and not spend $40. Now look, if you would have just traded back down to the low, you made $240. All right, so little time events that happen around the clock. 2 p.m. seems to be one of them. What I like to do is I just like to watch, again, observing. The order flow course will help you guys with that a lot. The whole order flow course is designed to try to change you from constantly predicting to observing, watching and waiting. You are looking for something specific to happen. You're observing it. You basically let that print in front of you and then interact with it instead of, the other way around. And so here, candle prints, you watch it for a couple minutes. What is price doing? Narrate it. Okay, price pushed below and it closed. Okay, price pushed above, it tried to go higher, it went to the middle of the range, it failed to go higher, and it closed inside of the range. Okay, price broke out of the range, it's an inside bar. Okay, it's back in the range, but it still will not close above the mid part of the range. At this point, that's where you should be confident in a sell. Right here at the close of this candle, or even this one. I mean, after the rejection. So either here or here, you should be thinking to sell if you're thinking about this candle and how did price react. It didn't go above it, that's for sure. It went below it. So we should be thinking sell as long as this holds like a resistance or a support. And so, boom, 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 you could have made some little monies off of that. That's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to keep an eye on it, or back test or whatever, you can do it yourself. But yeah, I'm going to get off of here. Today is Thursday, so I'll see you guys tomorrow for live trading. I'll see the rest of you guys for the webinar tomorrow. Everyone enjoy your day. Talk to you then.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ken.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Ken.
Bye bye.
All right. You
Thanks,
too.
Ken.
See y'all later.